Hi, this is Richard. I'm here to give you demos of the My Oracle Support mobile application. I'm going to start by going to my browser. I'm actually going to use my phone as opposed to a website or the web page, which you can use. You can navigate to support.oracle.mobi, and if you want some quick access to viewing and updating your service requests, you can do that from the desktop. So let's go ahead and go to My Oracle Support. And the first thing you're going to see is the sign-in page. You'll notice that my name and password are here already, and all I need to do is sign in. I'd like to point out that's not something I'm actually doing. Most platforms, like the iPhone as well as the Android platforms, allow you to set preferences. For example, Safari, autofill names and passwords. So I've set that something on my own. That's not something Oracle's provided. Let me go back in. You can see here, for example, obviously I provide the standard languages: Chinese, Japanese, Korean, as well as English. So if you're so inclined, feel free to sign in one of the other languages. But I'm going to sign in English, make it easier for me at least. So right away we see a few functionality features. One is be able to search, quick access to things like favorite service requests that require my action, and so on. And I'm going to use the back button. Take a look here. Closed, which of course is a slightly slower query, but it's available. And you can see that the My Oracle Support, even for things like closed service request, is pretty speedy. I am running on a Verizon network, so some of you on AT&T may be even faster than this. And I have the concept of safe searches. I also like to point out give feedback. So we very much like to hear from you, and if you do send us feedback, we usually respond the same day. I even tend to check it on the weekends. So let's look at favorites again. And here I see my favorites that I've marked with a little star, and it's the same favorites that I've marked in My Oracle Support on the desktop. So I'm going to drill down into one of these, for example, and basically you can see the functionality. I can do an update, I can add and remove the favorite, I can even request a close, so any existing SR that's updated. For example, doc 251.1 has your answer. I pulled it away just so I could type it easier. When you do that update, it will link that document, and then you'll be able to access that in the future. So another thing I'd like to point out is searching. So searching service requests, it's only searching the title, but it's also searching the service request number. So if you just remembered, I remember that SR it ended in 821. You don't actually need to remember the full service request number. It'll do a search. It'll look for 821 in the service request numbers, and sure enough, you can see right there in the SR number it's 821. Kind of found my service request. The other thing I'd like to point out is the look and feel of the list. So we have improved the list. You can see we are highlighting SEV2s and even highlighting SEV1s so that they pop a little more when you're looking through your list. Requires my action. That's pretty much straightforward. If the service request is back in your queue, then it'll be on that list. But here's the other thing that's interesting. You can create saved searches. So for example, I could be covering for Jim, so I can create a new search and basically look for only contact that is Jim. So for example, here I could select another contact, and basically I can track other people's service requests. So let's say Kirk in this case, or Jim, it doesn't really matter. Click select. And now I can say Kirk's SRs. And if he has a certain list of service requests, support identifiers you want to include, you can add and remove those there and click save. And hopefully I don't have any, so I don't have to keep track of what Kirk is doing. Let's take a look. Oh, he does have two SRs. So if I'm, for example, covering from him over the weekend, it's very easy for me to keep track of Kirk's SRs. So that's the basic functionality of the service request in the browser. Let me switch over here. And for the iPhone users, you'll see I've installed the Oracle application. And within the Oracle application is a support link. And the support link